Welcome to At Home with Music. I'm Leon Olguin, and I'm continuing my series on great quotes that have to do with music, music education. And this particular quote is anonymous. We don't know who said this, although I strongly suspect that many folks have expressed the sentiment contained within this quote over the years. And so here's the quote. There are a lot of things people may regret in their lives, but no one ever regretted picking up a musical instrument and learning how to play. Ever. I'll always remember when our grandfather, my mother's father, if you like, he gave us this Magnus chord organ. It was just this little organ that had a keyboard, not too many keys, and then all these buttons that you could press that would play various chords. I was fascinated by this thing. And so I was trying to figure out how to play songs on it, even though I had never had a music lesson. Although in elementary school back in the 60s, they did teach us a little bit about how to read notes, and we would play on glockenspiels and auto harps, and there was a definite emphasis on music education back in those days. Anyway, later on, my dad got an old beat-up upright piano, and he mainly got it because he liked to play around on it. And so he knew two songs. He knew how to play Anchors Away, and he played kind of a version of In the Mood by Glenn Miller. And he just had a great time playing around on that piano. And I decided I wanted to play the piano too, like Dad. I would get up there and I'd try to play chords on it, and I didn't know what I was doing. It just so happened that we lived next door to a piano teacher, very young piano teacher. And so I asked, could I take piano lessons from her? And my parents said, well, okay. I think the lessons cost $4 a week, And turns out I had an aptitude for music. I really absorbed as much as I could, as quickly as I could. Within 6 months, I played a solo recital, and I had a wonderful time learning to play the piano, and I have never regretted it. Now, I used to teach group piano lessons many, many years later, of course, and I would have a group of maybe 25, 30 people in a rec center or a church or a college campus, and I would be teaching them an introduction to the keyboard. And I would ask them at first, how many of you took piano lessons when you were a kid? And many of them would raise their hand. And then I would ask, how many of you are still taking piano lessons? Well, nobody would raise their hand. And then later on, several of them came to me and would say, I wish I had kept up with it. Very often when people have heard me play doing a show or a concert, and they would come up and say, I took piano lessons when I was young, and I really wish I had kept up with it. One of the reasons I started At Home with Music was to put online in a more permanent form some of the ways that I teach people how to play the keyboard. It's not the classical method. You're learning chords. You have the freedom to play any song that you want. And I've had folks come to me and say, I'd really like to pick up my piano lessons again. I want to keep playing. I want to get back to where I was many, many years ago when I gave it up. I'd like to get back into it. And so my goal is to help people be able to do that. Also to help homeschool teachers learn the basics of keyboard themselves if they've never been taught those things, or if they had piano lessons and gave up and want to get back to it, and then in turn be able to teach that to their children so that everybody in the household learns how to play an instrument. And I guarantee, if you've never played an instrument before and you really want to get into it, now's the time to do it. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. Well, if you're 1 year old, maybe you can't do it. But it doesn't matter if you're my age, and I'm not a young man. It's never too late. And I guarantee that you will never regret it. And I would encourage you, if you get started again, or if you get started for the first time, keep going. My goal is to help make it fun so that you can create beautiful sounds on your own, as well as listening to beautiful music and being inspired by it. So remember this quote, no one has ever regretted picking up an instrument and learning how to play. Of course, if you're playing the piano, you're not really going to pick it up. It's just going to be sitting there and you'll play it. But who knows? You may go on to play other instruments that you can pick up. Maybe you'll learn to play a little bit on the guitar, or you'll learn how to play the accordion. Maybe not the accordion, but nevertheless, you'll never regret it if you learn how to play music. So thanks for watching. I enjoy sharing these quotes with you. I've got many more. So many encouraging words to be heard about music education, about making music a big part of your life. Your life will be much richer, I guarantee it, if hearing good music, appreciating good music, and making music on your own, if all those things are part of your life. I encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to At Home with Music, please do so. It helps the channel a lot. If you want to continue to help me out, that I can continue to make these type of videos, you can support me on Patreon. You can just go to patreon.com and put my name in the search engine, and At Home with Music will pop up. I'll also put a link in the description. I'll also put a link to my website where you can go to sign up for our newsletter. And you can see a lot of the YouTube videos. We have links to those videos on the site. Everything is all there in one place. So thanks again, and I'll talk to you in the next one.